Hi, and thank you for joining us for this session on arts enhancement and arts integration. My name is Casterlow Lalla, and I am the supervisor of visual and performing arts for the Passaic Public Schools located in Passaic, New Jersey. When we talk about arts integration and arts enhancement, it's a wonderful link to talk about how we connect the arts to the other core content areas that are often always at the forefront of education. The arts are a rich and comprehensive way to help to bring together all of the amazing critical thinking skills, creativity, and expertise of our students and their day-to-day experiences. So as we get started with this, we're going to just talk a little bit about an overview on what is going on with the arts and how to infuse that to connect all of these wonderful contents together. So now when you look at this picture, what you're going to see is a bridge. And so I look at arts integration and I look at arts enhancement as that bridge to help to connect students to different content areas and how to help them bring them all together and connect their learning. In the picture that you're seeing, you're going to see two different land masses. Both of the land masses are unique. They look a little bit different from one another, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of similarities. And that is the difference between arts integration and enhancement. They look very similar. They use some of the same techniques, but there are some very critical differences that we need to be focused on. So our goals for today's session are really to understand those major differences between enhancement and integration. In addition, we want to dispel the myths between the two approaches so that you know how to take them and implement them in your school, program, or district. And then look at some of the access points towards arts and core content areas. These things are critical to ensure that we're all speaking the same language and ensuring that our students are getting a clear and concise message. So we have to look at how we can tell the difference between these two rich yet different approaches. Let's start out with arts enhancement. Arts enhancement emphasizes one content more than the other content. It uses assessment to focus on that emphasized content. So let's take a minute and look at the picture that you see. This picture shows a mountain, you see a river, you see a bridge, you see a lock, you see the sky and clouds. But if you look very closely at the picture, what you'll notice is it emphasizes and highlights the locks. The mountain, the sky, and the river are in the background. Those are not the important pieces that we need to be focusing on. So the lock is where we want to give our attention to. And it's the same as in arts enhancement. We're simply focusing in on one thing, and the outside background is in service to the other parts. We're going to now look at arts integration. Arts integration is a little bit more specific, and it actually equally teaches and assesses both the content standards and art standards. We are going to be focusing on both of these with very specific purposes. So when you look at this particular picture, you see that the actual artwork is completely interwoven. You do not see a difference between either one of the shapes that are there. They are all connected. And that is the difference. Arts integration makes sure that both contents are equally taught, equally assessed, and makes sure that students have it for a specific and direct purpose. So now, as we move forward, now that you have an idea of what those definitions are, we're going to see if you can kind of test your knowledge. So if you take a look at our next photo, you're going to see a tessellation. This tessellation really does focus in on the artwork of M.C. Escher, and it shows how students can develop their skill set. So if we're talking about this is an arts integration piece. We're going to be looking at the artwork. We're going to connect it to specific mathematical concepts, and we're going to focus on the translation of those concepts, rotation, and reflection. These highlighted pieces help us see that both the artwork as well as the mathematical concepts are going to be focused on in an authentic manner, both serving each other to ensure that students have a clear understanding. It is critical that both contents are assessed. Without that, we have now moved into arts enhancement. So if you're looking at this next photo, what you'll see is these two students are actually working together. They're reading, They're enjoying each other's company. They even look like they possibly could be highlighting something. This is a really common practice, especially in elementary reading centers. Reader's theater. Reader's theater is a wonderful opportunity to have students have repetition, have them read, have them work on fluency, balance, inflection. But what you'll notice when we think about reader's theater, we're not talking about theater at all. We're simply focusing in on those critical language arts skills that students need to master to become a more developed reader. So when this is done in daily practice, it is a wonderful way to build up fluency. However, it is missing the component of teaching theater or any theater skills, anything related to that content. It is using theater as a method to help enhance the language arts. And that's all. That is something that's very critical about these pieces. You'll notice that possibly teachers might say, let's have costumes or let's have a presentation. Those are all wonderful ways to help students practice. However, it does not in any way, shape, or form help to teach the critical nature of theater. So let's talk about the benefits of both integration and enhancement. When you're looking at integration and enhancement, the focus is on bringing the arts to a stronger and more relevant place so that students can learn and grow more. When you see these photos, you see that it's a path. This path allows us to explore through the different disciplines and contents and look at how they can possibly be connected. As you're going through this path, what you'll see is that there are different ways to look at it and to highlight the instruction that we have as arts educators. In that photo, you'll see that there's a main path, wide and broad, something that everyone's able to fit on, even walk side by side. But if you look right in the middle, you'll see there's a small, very steep, very narrow path. That's our thought for integration. It's very specific and it's hitting a specific location that we want our students to get to. Let's take a look at some myths that we've heard about arts integration and enhancement and see if we can kind of dispel these. So our first myth that we're going to look at is the arts are not as important as critical STEM contents. When you're looking at this picture, this young lady is having the ability to connect what she sees, the beauty of it. That's what's drawing her in. That's her artistic brain working for her. But now she's going to be able to connect that to what she may have learned in a STEM-related content. Listen, the arts stimulate our students. It helps their critical thinking skills, their natural curiosity, and it really brings together the things that they've been thinking about. It's really important that we don't try to size up both the arts with other contents. Every content is critical, it is important, and it helps to create well-rounded students. That's what our focus is on. Let's look at our next myth. If we're looking at this picture, we see this woman, bullhorn, strong, in control. Our next myth says that students don't learn critical thinking skills in the arts. That is absolutely false. Providing students with an opportunity to apply their voice through reflection, analyzing and synthesizing their skills, both verbal and written, can transform their approach to learning. I think about this lady and I look at this picture and what I see is somebody who's done their research, who understands what they're advocating for, who's passionate, who's aware, and now is making a difference to help to influence others. And I believe that the art truly does that for our students. And using either integration or using enhancement can help our students make that happen and help them to connect these both approaches. Our next myth: the arts integrations take too long. Listen, all things that we do in education take time because as humans, we need time to develop and to grow. Just as a flower needs the spring to come in and be beautiful by the time summer hits. This particular photo shows us that we can see the light from this photo in a number of different ways. It doesn't matter which one you decide to look at. We have to think about a collaborative method of teaching that exists, and it really takes the curriculum that you already have established in your program and tries to make it and bridge it together in an interactive and innovative way, just like this photo. We see the light, the shining parts. We also see the ends that go into the darker areas, And guess what? These shades and light help to give us something different. And we can take the time to look at this over and over and find something different in each one. Our last myth, very easy, very simple, and I find to be probably the most popular myth of all, is that teachers need extensive training. Here's the thing. If you have experts, educators who know their content, who know their standards, who know their students, by giving them some time to simply co-plan and bring together all those experts in a room from their respective fields, we can make those approaches easily accessible because we're working with the individuals who know what they're doing the most. Teachers simply need some time. I wouldn't say it's extensive time. They need time to think and to find out where those connections are to what they're doing. Now that we've dispelled some of the myths and we've looked at some of the things, let's think about it carefully. All we're trying to do is simply connect. So let's do a really brief recap. As you can see in this photo, we are trying to bring the connectors from both sides together. Arts enhancement is when we're utilizing one content and we're taking the arts, applying it so that it can help to emphasize the learning that we've done in that content. Arts integration equally teaches and assesses two contents, a core content and an arts-based content, brings them together, and then tries to show students a different set of skills that we can pull. And then, listen, the myths, we know what they are. And the goal is for us to overcome them, to give teachers some time to plan, bringing experts together who know their content, who know their standards, and know their field, making sure that we give students an opportunity to connect their natural curiosity, their interests, and really improve engagement. And then most importantly, simply just take the first step. Thank you so much for joining me and learning a little bit about this content. If you're interested in finding out additional information, you can always reach out to me. My contact information is there. I hope that this will be the first step in the journey and that this video helps you along the way. We're here to support you and know that we can make a huge difference in our education by showcasing the beauty and the power of how the arts helps to bring it together. Thank you.